When I married Sarah, I believed I had finally found peace. She was warm, graceful, and came from a quiet family that never meddled in our lives. We had been husband and wife for 2 years. On the surface, everything seemed perfect, but there were little details that never quite added up. She rarely spoke about her family's past. Whenever I asked about her relatives, her answers were vague and evasive. I didn't press the issue until one evening when my brother Adil, a detective, came over for dinner. That night, Sarah cooked a lovely meal for us. Later, as I was making tea, Adil wandered into the living room. He was the kind of man who always noticed what others overlooked. On the table sat an old family photo album Sarah's mother had left during her last visit. It was half open. Out of habit, Adil picked it up and began flipping through the pages. When I returned with the tea, I found him staring at one photograph for far too long. His expression shifted from mild curiosity to something sharp and unsettled. Slowly, he shut the album, set it back down, and gave me a look I couldn't decipher. Just then, Sarah walked in, and Adil instantly masked his concern with a smile. But I knew my brother well. Something was bothering him. After dinner, Adil suggested a short walk. Sarah offered to come along, but he politely insisted it was just brother talk. Once outside, he grabbed my arm firmly and said, "Listen carefully. There's something in that album you need to know about." His tone rattled me. "What do you mean?" I asked. He explained that he recognized some of the faces in the photos. They weren't ordinary men. They were criminals, men whose files he'd handled in past investigations. Adil was convinced that Sarah's uncle, the one she always described as just a businessman, was actually tied to organized crime. At first, I thought he might be exaggerating, but the seriousness in his eyes told me he wasn't. "I don't forget faces," he reminded me. "I've seen these men in case files and police records. They're dangerous. And if your wife hasn't told you about them, there's a reason." My chest tightened as his words sank in. I tried to defend Sarah, suggesting maybe she didn't know. Maybe her family kept her in the dark too. But Adil shook his head. "There's more," he continued. "One of the men in that album was arrested years ago for money laundering. He got away because of powerful connections. If Sarah grew up around them, she knows more than she's admitting." We walked further down the street as my mind raced. Suddenly, all the moments I had brushed off came together. The time Sarah dodged family gatherings, her silence about her father's sudden wealth, the nervous look in her eyes whenever her relatives were mentioned. My brother's discovery forced open a door I hadn't wanted to face. What should I do? I asked him. "Be careful," Adil warned. "Don't confront her right away. If she's hiding this, she'll only get defensive. Pay close attention. I'll run a background check and see how deep this goes. But prepare yourself. The foundation of your marriage may be built on secrets." That night, I returned home with his words echoing in my head. Sarah greeted me with a smile as if nothing had happened, but I couldn't look at her the same. Every laugh, every gesture, every word now felt layered with hidden meanings. I was torn between love for my wife and fear of what she might be keeping from me. Over the next few days, I noticed her carefully steering conversations away from her family. Every time I brought them up, she changed the subject. Meanwhile, Adil continued updating me, reinforcing his belief that her relatives were tied to criminal networks. The weight of the truth grew heavier. I wanted to trust her, but the evidence was impossible to ignore. Finally, I confronted her. I told Sarah about the album, about what Adil had recognized, and about the doubts that had been eating at me. She was silent for a long time, then tears filled her eyes. She admitted she had hidden the truth out of shame. Her family's history was steeped in crime and corruption, and she had spent her life trying to escape it. She had hoped that by burying the past, she could live a normal life with me. Hearing her confession hurt deeply, because she had lied, but also lifted a weight because she had finally been honest. I didn't know what the future of our marriage would look like. But one thing was clear. Without Adil noticing that family album, I would have remained blind to reality behind a woman I married.